All right, guys, welcome back. Chief Kerr for Kravology. So we've been focused a lot on level 1, level 2 in some of our classes. We prepare for a comprehensive test, and as we do that, we're finding that some of our students are interpreting the words we use differently than we would like them to be applied. So what I've done today is that we're going to talk a little bit about choke from the front, two-hand pluck. We're going to talk specifically about the pluck and what it means to go deep with the pluck. So generally speaking, when I'm being choked, I have an instinctive response. My hands fly to the danger. It looks like I'm grabbing the arms. I want to make something out of this motion, so I make a pluck. My hands come in. I let my thumbs loose. I come down inside the choke. Depending on how your shoulders work and range of motion, you can actually touch your chest or get close to your chest. And I explode up. And when I explode up, I'm actually stomping, as you know. When I'm exploding up, the elbows are coming up, making sort of this M sign. My hips are coming forward because my chest is pushing forward as well. And I'm making this motion, right? This is the pluck. So as I went through and started talking about this with my students, a couple things became apparent. The first one is that deep does not mean, I'm gonna bring James in. Deep does not mean, let's go right there. Deep does not mean this. I'm not going out. This motion is not consistent with 90 degrees from the danger. And depending on, if I have, blood or sweat or something on my hands, the likelihood I make the pluck is much lower. The other issue is because it's not 90 degrees, I don't have the same kind of sort of contra force applied to the danger, right? So that's not the right way to do it. I try to stay away from words like that, James, because people see this and they go to their instructor and say, hey, Chief Kirk said not to do this. And that instructor has to say why they think it's right, which it's just not. But so what I try to do is just say, hey, this is the way we do it. So this is the way we do it. We dive in like this. We make this big, powerful movement. It's huge gross motor skills that include shoulders, arms, back, chest, and hips, right? So that's the way we make our pluck. The other thing that became apparent is that students thought that we were plucking with the hooks of our hand, right? And that's really your backup. Ideally, when you pluck, you'd like to hook with, I don't know how the camera sees that, you'd like to hook with the wrist, right? Which is much more plausible when I go deep. So I'm going deep, and I make this motion, and the wrists are catching. I don't know if you can see this on camera. That's what it looks like, right? If I miss here, then I have my hand as sort of the backup. If I miss with my hand, I have nothing, right? So one more time, let's show how deep we're getting. I don't know, can you see the fingers down here? So I'm lifting up and back, I'm catching, and I'm making this motion here, right? Sometimes in class, I'll start talking, I'll do this with my hands, and I have students doing this at the end of the pluck, right? So I have to be careful on what we're showing and what's misinterpreted or interpreted differently. So for you, for your training, when you're doing the pluck, your hands are likely going to fly close to the danger. If James is choking, my hands are not going to do this. Oh, they're going to do this, and I'm going to make a pluck out of it. I'm going to go as deep as I can without forcing his hands down, because that creates counter force, right? And I'm going to use the bend of my wrist to the extent that I can and make this opening motion, right? As I stomp and make the kick, I get the rest of the body involved. But for the purposes of our conversation today, what I really want you to understand is deep means down inside the choke. It doesn't mean out in front. And to the extent that you can, catch with the wrist and use your hand and your fingers, your hooks, as backups. You'll find you're much stronger, it's much more reliable, and frankly, it's much closer to what you will experience if you're under stress and have an instinctive response. So that is what we have for today. Any questions? Any comments?
Yes, sir.
You want to say anything to the people? All right.
Yes.
All right, so choke in the front, two-hand pluck. This is the way we pluck. Walk in peace.